Hello friends, today we are taking a look at Studio Series Deluxe Class Sideswipe. Now the figure is packaged in robot mode, but I'm going to start off with his vehicle mode of the Corvette. And the vehicle mode is actually quite nice in this nice silver. I would love to have seen a different color on the wheels, nothing crazy though. The alt mode works well, and this is the drop top version, or the convertible version of the Corvette. And as you can see, his hips are, well, visible in this mode. Has a nice little driver's or left-hand side drive for the American market and 2 bucket seats. It's a pretty good alt mode. However, it doesn't hold together all that well, and the lines here in the front of the vehicle mode are a little bit off-putting. I don't mind the overall look, though. It's fine. I do, however, have an issue with mine, and I actually don't know if this is an issue, or rather just me not being able to transform it correctly, in that the rear wheels do not stay pegged into place, and the whole figure doesn't seem to fit quite well on the ground. There feels like there's a lot of scraping going on. Size-wise, it is on the small side. We've got Barricade, which is the almost exact same size of the figure, and then we have the new Prime Voyager class figure right there. Sideswipe's transformation into robot mode does require quite a bit of pieces to be pulled off. First, we're going to come to the sides of the doors and pop the swords off, then reach underneath and fold down the robot arms. There we can pull off the guns and again put them off to the side. Then, with the arms pulled down like this, we can go ahead and just start kind of pulling it apart. Come to the front wheel wells and pull them away from the vehicle mode and slide them down out of the way. Then unpeg the side doors and pull them out of the way. So you kind of have the figure standing up like that from vehicle mode. Next, we're going to come to the back, and this is where things are a little funny. So you take the rear of the vehicle mode's trunk and push it up like this. That way, you free the rear wheel wells and this rear chest section, and you can fold that whole section down over the head as long as the head doesn't get in the way. And then when you do that, you can flip up the shoulders into place underneath the wheel wells and flip out the fists, or in this case, the open hands, like that. Next, come to the rear of the top of the vehicle mode and just kind of leave it as it is, though the rear bumper will collapse over the head like that. We'll fix all of that up here in just a second. Push the hood out of the way, and then we can come down to the legs. With the legs, fold them down, and then flip these brownish pieces down, and they will peg into the wheels that you flip down as well, like that. Well, they don't really peg into the wheels, they just kind of rest there on the wheels, on the wheel hubcaps, that is. Unlike the other larger versions of Sideswipe in some of the other, I think it was in the Human Alliance mode, or versions of the figure, you do, or you can peg into the wheel wells. And then we take the front bumper and open it up and slide it around. And you actually kind of want to do that before you flip it over. So here's the wheel. Take the top wheel well, flip it around, and then fold the wheels in. And then you could flip the front wheel wells forward to form the feet. Now we come to the backpack. Take the rear of the car mode, turn it 180 degrees, and then collapse it down into the seats. And then take the rear or the front hood, turn that 180 degrees. You kind of want to do that before you fold the back down. And then this whole section will fold up over top the rear of the back. And then you can leave the wings up or point them down or point them however you wish. And then we could take the guns, and he can either hold the guns, or the guns are supposed to be able to peg into these tiny little peg holes hanging off his butt. However, I have yet to be able to get them to peg in. It's probably not going in. I've tried either side. I've tried both sides. Just doesn't work for me. But then you can use the little swords, and they peg in to the outside of the hands. Like this. And either of the swords can be used on either hand. It doesn't really matter. Depends on what your preference is on the look. You can have the straight sword look, going straight along the arm, or you can have more of a covered hand look like that, where the pegs that peg them into place in vehicle mode are sticking up. Head sculpt is quite good, however, I'm not a huge fan of the tuning fork look, and there's a little bit too much silver on the gray going on with this figure. I would have loved to have seen maybe a red head, but that's not really the design of the figure. Face sculpt is good, eyes being blue I like quite a bit, but I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of this head sculpt. I don't think it works particularly well, given the fact that the figure is so small. I hate harping on the fact that the figure doesn't feel that big. It is bigger than the Bumblebees. However, it's not much bigger. It's still smaller than a deluxe class figure from the last year, which is a shame. Head is on a nice ball joint, can look down that much, can look up that much, and can move around freely. Shoulders are on a ball joint as well, and have a good range of forward, back, in, and out movement. However, you are limited due to the kibble here we have from the transformation. Swivel just above the elbow. Elbow bends at 90 degrees. No fist articulation. There is torso articulation. Ball joint in the hips. Ball joints all across the figure are nice and tight. Thigh swivel. Chicken legs going on with the legs. So we have the first knee is got a little bit of articulation. The second knee has a lot more articulation. That's due to the transformation. And then his toes can kind of become pointy and move in and out. You can futz with it a little bit and get some articulation here in the ankles by just untransforming the feet a little bit. No matter which way you decide to pose the figure, it has a lot of posability, lots of different joints, and you could get some really nice dynamic poses out of this little dude. Overall, Sideswipe is a very fun figure and definitely worth having in your collection, but I would like to see Hasbro improve his paint a little bit. I'm sure customizers like Cheetamus and Chrome Tyranno will do some great work with this guy. It really could use more red. I personally would have loved to have seen a lot more red on the figure, just as classic Sideswipe, or even black. Black would have made this figure a lot better. The paint on the figure, though, for the silver is quite good, but the silver flat coloring, I think, hampers it a little bit because it just looks dull. And my good buddy Thu recently set up a bunch of movie Transformers, and they're all just kind of the same color palette. It's really, really kind of dull. Anywho, this figure's totally worth picking up, so if you can, I would go ahead and pick it up. I was able to get a hold of it via BigBadToyStore.com at the time of this review. It is currently still in stock, so you can head over there and pick it up if you'd like, or you could pick up the entire wave of deluxe class figures. Let me know what you think of the figure down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Baltmatrix, and I will catch you next time.